Hello everyone, this is Carta de la Rosa-King, immigration attorney, and today I want to talk to you briefly about a frequently asked question. And the question is, can I change the location of the U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate where I am supposed to attend my immigrant or non-immigrant visa interview? The answer to that question is yes, it is possible. There are several things that need to be taken into consideration before making this move. But in short, yes, it is possible to change the location of the U.S. Embassy or Consulate where you are supposed to have your immigrant or non-immigrant visa interview. Now, I'll give you a couple of examples I think it will help to better explain this. Let's say I have an employer who filed an I-140 immigrant petition for alien worker who lives in the Philippines. So at the time we file the I-140 petition for alien worker, we are going to state on the I-140 petition that the interview for the immigrant visa is going to happen in the Philippines because that's where the foreign national is living. Now, at the time, remember that we have to wait for the I-140 to be approved, and then once the I-140 is approved, the file is going to be transferred to the National Visa Center so we can continue with the consular processing stage, and then we also have to wait for the priority date to be current. So if at the time the priority date is current and at the time the file is at the National Visa Center, the foreign national reach out to us or to the employers and say, okay, I'm no longer living in the Philippines, I am now living, let's say, in Canada. And he's going to say, I would like to have my immigrant visa interview in Canada. Can I do this? The answer is yes. So the process of how this request is gonna work, it's gonna depend on where is the file. So if the file is still at the National Visa Center, in this particular case, what we're gonna do is we're gonna file a request with the National Visa Center, and we're gonna let them know, okay, this foreign national is now living in Canada, so we would like to have his or her immigrant visa interview to take place in Canada. When we make this request, we need to submit to the National Visa Center documentation showing that the foreign national is authorized to be in Canada, that he is lawfully living there. So once we file this request and we submit all those documentation showing that the foreign national is lawfully living in Canada, then most likely the National Visa Center, they are gonna authorize our request and they are gonna change the location where the immigrant visa is supposed to take place. Now, in this situation, most likely they're going to approve our request and the immigrant visa interview will take place in Canada. Now, if the file has already, another scenario is that you have already submitted all your documentation to the National Visa Center and the file has already been forwarded to the embassy, to the embassy in the country where you are supposed to attend your immigrant or non-immigrant visa interview. Now, in this case, I'll give you a different example. Let's say you have a U.S. citizen who is married to a foreign national who lives in Mexico. So when the U.S. citizen filed the I-130 petition for alien relative, he stated that the immigrant visa interview should take place in Mexico, which is where the foreign national was living at the time. Now, let's say the I-130 gets approved, the file is forwarded to the National Visa Center. In the National Visa Center, we pay all fees, all documents are submitted, and when the file is complete, is documentally qualified, the National Visa Center, they forward the file to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico. Now, what happens at that time, after the file has been transferred, the foreign national reach out to us and say, I'm no longer living in Mexico, I move or are relocated, let's say, to El Salvador. So in that situation, I can no longer make my request to the National Visa Center to change the location of the visa interview because the file is no longer at the National Visa Center. So what I usually do is I will contact the U.S. Embassy in Mexico and the U.S. Embassy in El Salvador. So to the U.S. Embassy in Mexico, I'm going to let them know the applicant is no longer there, is no longer living in Mexico, and he would like to have his interview taking place in El Salvador. At the same time, I'm going to contact the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. Consulate in El Salvador, and I'm going to ask them to request for the transfer of the file so that the U.S. Embassy in El Salvador will contact and request the file from the U.S. Embassy or the U.S. Consulate in Mexico so that the interview can take place in El Salvador. So if you're in this situation, if for some reason you had to relocate, you had to move because of work, or it could be because you are a citizen of a different country and you just relocated to a different country, and again, you have to show that you're authorized to live in that country where you want the visa or non-immigrant visa interview to take place. But if you're able to prove this, it is possible for you to change the location of the U.S. Embassy or U.S. Consulate where your immigrant or non-immigrant visa interview is supposed to happen. So if you're in this situation and you have any questions about this matter or you need any assistance with your case, please feel free to give us a call at 773-366-1214 and schedule a consultation with me. I hope you find this video helpful. Thank you for watching.